The 5 topics I would like to discuss with you today in Rome, Italy for this project are education, environment, healthcare, architecture, and the ever so popular history of Rome, Italy. The history of Rome dates back to a widely accepted date of April 23rd of 753 BC. Another legend says Romulus founded Rome back in 713 BCE. The geography of Rome is located between the Apennine Mountains and the Tyrrhenian Sea. As I am sure most of you know, today Rome is a major city for tourism. It is also called home to the Vatican and the papacy. A revolution took place in Italy that really overtook Rome in 1848, and in 1871, building up of Rome in efforts to make it the capital city took place, and while this happens, the population in Rome grew very fast. In 1871, the population grew from about 200,000 to 660,000 in 1921, so a population that grew more than tripled over a 50-year period. Then there came a political tyrant by the name of Benito Mussolini, and it did not take long for him to take over the entire nation of Italy. Now, as explained in a great resource named Exam Essays in 20th Century World History by Peter Catterall, Mussolini was able to form his own party in Milan in the year 1919, but it really wasn't strong enough to gain any significant backing until the rise of the Squadrismo, which were black-shirted radicals, you could say, that took action into their own control. On October 28, 1922, there came an invasion by the name of the March on Rome, which put Benito Mussolini in control of Italy. This is because the king at the time was Victor Emmanuel III, and he voted to submit to an agreement with Mussolini and appointed him as head of a coalition government. The education system in Italy is presently divided into 3 parts: primary, lower secondary, and upper secondary schools. State school in Italy is indeed free through primary school, and school is actually required for children until the age of 16. Lastly, the Ministry of Education, Universities, and Research is in charge of the administration of schools. From age 3 to 5, children are enrolled in a preschool and kindergarten. Primary school is similar to our elementary school, and lower secondary and upper secondary are similar to junior high and high school in the United States. Along with these 3 divisions, students may choose what concentration they would like to pursue further. This meaning students can choose a more specific high school to attend, and they can choose from the following concentrations: classical high school, scientific high school, fine arts high school, teacher training school, artistic schools, technical institutes, and professional institutes. In classical high school, students learn about Latin, Greek, and Italian literature, and the last 3 years focus more on the subjects of philosophy and the history of art. Scientific high school places emphasis on physics, chemistry, along with natural sciences. The rest are basically self-explanatory. In order for children to be enrolled in an Italian high school, there are some necessary documents the student or parent guardian must provide in the administration. And necessary, from the looks of it, look more involved than required in this country. By law, the Italian administration must allow the student to enroll even if they were not able to come up with all the paperwork needed to enroll. That gives the student a status of temporary enrolled. Right now, the entire Italian education system is undergoing some major changes due to the economic and social changes happening over there. The higher education in Italy has been a long story of trials and triumphs since the first school was built back in 1303. Higher education in Italy is broken up into 3 parts, along with primary school, which is first, second, and third cycles. You would consider the first cycle to be more of the general education courses to give a broad overview of the subject of concentration. The second cycle is the deeper study of the student's concentration, like upper-level undergraduate classes. And the third cycle is like your graduate courses that give students an expert-like education in their field of study. However, the job readiness in Rome is really struggling. According to a survey done by the Attico Institute in 2008, 25% of job vacancies cannot be filled with candidates that have the required qualification, and 25% of positions cannot be filled as required because of companies that cannot find applicants in sufficient numbers. Correspondingly, Italian companies are suffering from the most severe skills shortages of the five biggest Europe countries. 22% say they cannot find the IT skills they need. 28% say they cannot find people with the job experience required, and 37% say they cannot find the needed technical skills. So the students are really not getting well prepared for the workforce. The environment in Rome, Italy has some limited resources, but it is very good with maintaining a solid import of minerals such as petroleum, sulfur, iron ore, and others. Italy is still very dependent on foreign oil as well and has many nuclear stations spread across the nation. Their supply of natural gas is depleting very quickly. In the year 1998, Roman industrial groups and environmental organizations had made a joint effort to reduce the environmental impact of the use of energy. Healthcare in Italy, more specifically in Rome, seems to be quite a difficult topic because of its deeply rooted and complex problems. Mainly it all has to do with the political history and current state of the economy. Lira was the unit of money formerly used in Italy, and with it coming out of the market, that basically marked the state of an economic downturn for Rome along with the rest of the nation. With efforts to control the spending spree in Rome, some benefits like healthcare were getting cut back. Even though Italy has the fifth largest economy in the world, the issue there is a governmental intervention policy because the government has a lot of say in everything that goes on because the government funds just about everything. It is understood that a whopping 95% of Italians depend on public health care. Public health care consists of a cradle-to-grave type of policy. Unfortunately, these healthcare facilities are very uneven in its distribution throughout Italy. Most facilities are located in the northern half of the country, with the south side not getting near as much public hospitals, etc. And there are three main types of hospitals in Italy, which include general care facilities, specialist centers, and psychiatric care hospitals. In dealing with Italy's healthcare system, it was recently rated as the second best in the world by the World Health Organization. However, the National Health Service, which is the dominant provider of care, is struggling to cope with rising costs, long waiting lists, and poor management systems. Despite efforts to ensure equal access to health services, regional inequalities persist in the level of health service provision, with hospitals in the north attracting patients from less developed regions in the south. The rapidly aging population is already putting extra pressure on existing resources, particularly as services to cater for the elderly and the dependent are underdeveloped. All Italian citizens are registered with the Assistenza Sanitaria Locales system, the ASL system, and can choose their own doctors. A system of partial payment for medication and treatment has been introduced over the years to reduce the enormous public health expenditure. The public healthcare system has begun adopting the day hospital concept to reduce operating costs. Hospitals currently receive funds according to the number of patients they treat, regardless of the length of time spent by patients in the facility. The importance of the private sector role is growing because of the inefficiency of the public system. Thank you very much.